hits and crits. This video is brought to you by Asmodee.
Hey!
Hi there. So this week, it's me again. I'm joined by none the other Masarat. So you might know him from Turning Ground, one of the bigger podcasts from Song. And we'll be commentating on another game from pre-season finals. This week we have Big Guy, so one of our fellow creators of the circuit, against Elvin, so from all the way from Australia. It's Targaryen Mirror, and I just need one more second to set up everything, and we'll we'll go over the list selection, and yeah. So give us one.
That's all right.
Thank you
I'll
for
talk to the
joining us,
audience.
Mickey. Yeah.
No, it's okay. It is what it is. It's a loss to the audience. You know, the audience lose out here by having me here. I'm sure. No, it's I'm relatively well known from anyone who watches Turning Ground to be able to fill voids of space. So I work quite well in streaming games of Song of Ice and Fire because there's usually quite a lot of dead air. If you just did a play-by-play, it would be pretty boring. Trust me, I've done it. So yeah, looking forward to today. Obviously, Leon Corellian. Leon is a good friend of both me and Sophie's, of course, and I'm really looking forward to him kind of play today. He's always interesting to watch as a very, very good player. Arguably, well, literally best player in the world at the moment. And no signs of that slowing down, certainly from Leon's perspective. And Elmin, who I've never actually seen play properly. I think I caught 5 minutes of a streamed game once, I think, where he was playing. I probably wasn't paying attention. I often join streams and then get carried over something else. So I'm really looking forward to him and seeing his play. It is a Targ mirror, as you mentioned. And I think Targ mirrors are interesting as themselves. Can be real kind of tentative battles of positioning, which as a good player, I look forward to tentative battles of positioning because I feel that that's the most important thing in the game, with movement being so important in how you win games, and this Targ mirror obviously being heavily movement based. We do have a load of cavalry units across these two lists that we're seeing today. We're seeing 7 cavalry lists on the board. And more importantly, no dragons, which I think is the big one. But yes, 7 cavalry across the two lists with only 1 infantry unit. And so this game is positioning. Understanding tempo, who's going to get the first hit in, understanding where the weaknesses of someone's list are, whereas the strengths. It's going to be it's hopefully going to be really interesting.
Well, the scenario for today is here we stand. So also it will be interesting to see how players leverage this out. You mentioned dragons. I think it's quite reasonable that we don't see dragons in Targaryen Mirror.
Yeah.
Oh wait, now I see that you can only see half of your face. So give me a moment.
It's all right. Don't worry.
No,
that's me.
I mean, I think it's better if people don't see you fully, but
Yes.
Since you were so kind to join us. Yep. On the right we have Leon's list, led by Khal Drogo, and on the left we have Elmin with quite fresh choice for Targaryens. Skahaz Kandaq, Shavepate. He wasn't really that popular, I think, until recently. His card got changed, and now it's actually quite decent. Which one is it? Queen's Law. That allows you now just to turn off abilities for turn. Well, his kit is decent in general, I think, but yeah, Targaryens don't do much for infantry commanders. So
yeah, he was never. The whole problem with Skahaz, however you pronounce it, I always say Skahaz, but the problem always with him was that his attachment didn't do a lot for the game in general, and it still is dubious. Like, mark target's fine, but like doesn't synergize that well with things like screamers, and insight is arguably widely considered one of the worst abilities in the game as an order. Now, you're not paying for that, obviously, but it is still your commander attachment. So it's dubious whether or not his attachment brings value, but his cards were always okay, and we saw those cards get improved with Queen's Law and things changing. So he has become more popular in Season 5. He has become more played in Season 5, and I do think he's actually seen more success in Season 5. So it's not a massive surprise to me that Elmin's running this, but it is probably a surprise that he chose this into Targaryen. I think that is actually an interesting conversation in and of itself. We're maybe going to see Eyes of the Watch. Is it Eyes of the Watch, I believe, that does the hits, if I remember rightly? It's keeping the peace, isn't it?
Giscari Justice.
Oh, Justice.
Almost.
Okay, God, it's been a while. Yeah. But yeah, Justice doing the hits, I think, is going to be pretty good, because obviously we know that Serenas and Outriders have very low armor comparatively. So I can see that having some value, and that works quite well against Drogo, who wants to be doing a lot of actions and pressuring that side of it. And then also on the other cards, such as Eyes of the Watch and Keeping the Peace, being able to punish one unit from doing certain things, which is exactly what Drogo wants. So this timing of start of enemy turn is usually a very bad timing trigger, because it's before the opponent's committed to anything. But in a Drogo list, you've got one game plan, and it's usually called Drogo. So being able to have this start of turn trigger be less impacted by the fact that you want to push that one game plan feels pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I think the struggle, if anything, is going to be keeping Skahaz near Drogo to keep the effective control on that unit.
Yeah, and that's interesting in this list in general. You have only one infantry, so the question is how much will this spikemen do during the game? Can you rely on them doing damage? Or even being in the game against all cavalries. Sorry, I'm using my cursor too much, so you probably don't see much. Yeah.
All right.
So this is interesting. I think Screamer Co is also interesting choice for Dothraki Screamers. It's not something I would expect to see in a long time, but yeah, especially now that no, they always used to have vulnerable, but usually I think you would play him in the veterans, if anywhere. We also have Xara.
I think.
Okay, yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so the Screamer Co is an interesting one, because the Screamer Co, that for me, I think there's a bit of an overlap of issue here, perhaps. I've got to be careful how I word this. But the Screamer Co wants the Screamers to obviously be engaged at the start, and then that's where you're really going to start winning these trades, is because you no longer require the charge for your Screamers to be the most effective. They're just effective, and they've always got that charge effectiveness on every attack that they make because of your because you've got your martial training. Screamer Co allows that, but, and this is a big one for me, I don't particularly like the Screamer Co when you consider that Skahaz keeps Sudden Retreat in the deck. So you have Sudden Retreat, which is a very, very good card. Drogo removes it, which is one of the things that I've always said is the weakness of Drogo, is removing Sudden Retreat. It's such a big loss. Yeah. And you have it still in Skahaz. And if you've got that, it means your Screamers can kind of jump off and then charge anyway. It does mean that he is allowed to use the Sudden Retreat more often than Outriders or wherever he wants it. But for me, I don't think that martial training in the Screamer Co is as effective, purely based on the fact that you've got that Swift Sudden Retreat in the deck. That being said, if he can't guarantee charges, he can willingly say, look, I'm going to get charged with one unit. This is going to get charged, perhaps get hit first, but it's okay because I have the opportunity to then come back. Still not entirely sure whether it would be something I would do. I don't know if there's a 5-point NCU I'd rather have in the list with that 1 point. I quite like Zaro into this matchup. You see both players running that. Varys is obviously great, and Miri, again, both players running it, and Miri's obviously great. So really the question comes down to whether or not the Barristan pick over the Screamer Co Varys pick is that variation you want to see. And for me, I don't really know. I'd have to think about it. I'd be more tempted to drop the Fortune Seeker to run one of the Blood Riders in the Screamers myself, rather than the Screamer Co myself.
That's interesting. Blood Rider in season 5. That's you don't see that often, but yeah, that would be reasonable. Maybe even drop Zora. I don't know. I've played the Cruellians list a bit, and I really come to love Fortune Seeker in Outriders, especially with Zaro. You have like obvious play for start of the round. So yeah.
Cruellians list is more cookie cutter. I'd argue and always say that like these Drogo lists, they just want another vector. The two Screamers are just there to be Screamers. The Outriders and the Blood Riders are where all the action is going to be. These two units doing basically all of the work, and the Outriders suffer from a little bit of a problem where they don't want to be taking swords with the bags combos, etc., etc. So yeah, I can see the play with Zaro Outriders. The sad truth is, at the top of the round, though, you are against a lot of things. You're probably going to really be beefing up the idea of like, do I Barristan against some units or Zaro against others? Because being able to shut down something with Barry early on in the round, rather than giving your opponent a full turn sequence, is sometimes risky against certain opponents. So although I do like the combo, sometimes I'm just like, but Barry's probably the best one to come down anyway, so maybe I don't actually want to use Zaro Fortune Seeker. And for me, and the way that I play, I'd probably move away from the Fortune Seeker over time. That's not to say it's bad. It just, I'm never 100% on it. I understand it works for this list, and I would never blame anyone for making that combo, certainly.
It's for sure easy safe pick. Also, you're still playing into Targaryens, so with Barristan it might be a bit harder to select what you want to block, because there is not that many abilities, especially at the start of round. Like, what do you block? In general, Sudden Retreat, obviously, maybe Tech Repo, but it's just like, yeah.
Well, if you're making a range attack, you probably are not wanting to block that many things, which is why the Zaro is fine against this list. What is interesting is that when you want to make the melee attacks, it's nearly always going to have to be. You always want it to be Barristan.
Yeah.
Because you want to shut down Sudden Retreat. You want to be able to shut down your opponent's potential pikeman. Yeah, you're shutting down Set for Charge or Shield Wall. Of course, not letting down Blow, both. This is quite a big one for Drogo, so the Drogo Assault orders in to the pikeman, which I don't expect to see this game, to be honest. It's only shutting down Set for Charge or Shield Wall, and Elmin should just trigger both. You just say, right, I'm going to trigger Set for Charge. You give the opportunity to Leon to cancel that, but then he can't cancel Shield Wall, or vice versa. If you don't use Set for Charge, he's going to cancel Shield Wall, so you're better off just making him take the hit or not take the hit, and at least get one or both orders back.
Best way to play against control tools is to make your opponent use them, as some person said one day. Okay, I think we can jump over to the game. The players have started to deploy already, and yeah, we can talk about this in the meantime. So what can we see here? Players are using TS, so lag is to be expected, especially considering that one of the players is from Australia. So on the top side, as red, we have a big guy with his Drogo, and on the bottom, next to the palisade, we have Elmin with pink trace. Interesting. Can I?
Yeah. So my immediate gut reaction, is that I really like Leon's setup here. I really don't like Elmin's setup at all. I appreciate Elmin's positioning in terms of he's respected the 2-inch shift from the shot, so he's not going to get shot round one, at least not off the first activation of the game, which I sometimes see. But what I see is Elmin's slowest unit. Good, it's in the middle of the board, or closer to the middle of the board, but he's then factored in on that left-hand side, which either means he's got one of two strategies he's going to implement from round one. Either round one, he's going to move forward quite heavily, and he's going to look to pierce that left-hand flank and make a mess on the left-hand side of the board, or he's going to have to fake and effectively swing to the right-hand side, which is a lot harder with that palisade. I just prefer Leon's positioning.
You
The
have
two
way more
non-countering-
capabilities to play.
Yeah.
Play out the game.
Yeah. Well, you have access to the right-hand side, bottom right corner, which Elmin actually at the moment has limited access to. And it means that if the Fortune Seeker Outriders do kind of like a maneuver march, get into the flank of those pike are going to have to get turned. The other Screamer comes down, and kind of you can create a bit of an unbalanced situation for Elmin's right-hand side. And then Leon can effectively win the 2 versus 1 over there, while also winning the 2 versus 2 on the flat on this side, with the pikeman feeling a little bit isolated.
We see Eyes of the Watch being cycled by Elmin. Quite a reasonable number choice. Yeah, and with this deployment, what can also happen is Leon can try to just play for scoring at this point. Like, you don't need to fight when your opponent is deployed like that. You can just spread out and score points. Especially that Ballistan also helps here with this scenario, because it's 5 points that you can add to any quadrant if you don't want to claim a zone. So yeah, for anyone watching, let me know if everything is okay with the stream. If you hear me twice or anything, let us know, because the setup was done quite hastily, but I hope there are no issues this time. So yeah.
There are no issues, don't worry. This is the beauty
you're
of being
also watching.
Yeah, the beauty of watching. And, trust me, I've done quite a lot of streaming, Sophie. I know when things are bad.
Do you have any
Usually
podcast
when
or anything?
I'm in control of things. No, I don't. Nothing that anyone should watch anyway. No, what I like here, we're seeing the first kind of movement in the right direction for Elmin, which is putting pressure on these Screamers. And this is in a situation, remember, where Leon is going second. So he can take the swords to block it now, but that would obviously then lead to a skipped NCU and lower activation count. This is kind of one of those, this feels like a good position for Elmin. But actually, probably what you're going to see is you're going to see a decommitment, if you will, from Leon by just activating the Screamers and putting them well outside of the shot range, and just wholly negate that, or just move them forward or take the hit anyway, and just accept that attack is going to come in, with the knowledge that you then get to close the distance with your cav charge, and you get to potentially make a lot of damage. And we see here the activation coming out.
Exactly what you're saying.
This is a classic kind of like, you show the force, you say, this is going to happen, and as a good player, you've kind of got an automated response to this already. It is good, though. It's good that Elmin does this, because this is, like, when we talk about tempo and space control, this is Elmin controlling that space, and we see here now that Elmin's effectively now got a 17 and a bit inch control of that space by just taking the horses.
Yeah,
and I think that's undervalued perhaps by many people.
Yeah, this game is all about controlling space. So it's nice to see that. Those players clearly understand that. Know how it works.
It also means that I know what I'm talking about after some period of time by basically never playing games.
Yeah. Who would have the guy that was first in the ranking knows what he's talking about. For some time, you will.
Nah. Bollocks. I don't know a thing. I'm a bit. I guess what I would say is I'm always confused as to what Elmin's going to do here, because he's obviously now on the second activation, on the first activation. Sorry, he's now going first in an even activation game. He's going to be out activated here, and he doesn't want to commit into the gap, because otherwise Drogo's just going to run all over him. But at the same time, he doesn't want to do anything here, and he just sidles this unit over 6 to open the pathway for Jorah.
Interesting choice, I would say. Also, one question.
What else did he do?
Yeah. It's like, but why didn't you deploy them the other way? Like, I was curious in general. Why was Jorah in the back? Also, the question is who put those palisades down? I would assume Leon. But
I think Leon. It would have been good for Leon to do that. I think placing the weirwood in the middle is a very Skahaz game plan, and I don't even disagree as a bad one. I think it's probably the correct play. Yeah, and we see inevitably which was the inevitable thing that was going to happen, which is Miri has to take the board first, and she goes to block swords to block the outrider shot from Leon. and the double tokens come out. That was always gonna happen, basically.
So yeah, basically Leon is also just outwaiting and seeing to get his son. Yeah, that's also another reasonable decision. He just goes over because this whole bottom right flank is just his with this palisade. Elmin cannot contest
the intervening activation there from Leon was the pass with Barry. For those of you who wondered what happened, and this is kind of why that Screamer move is both unimportant but also understandable, in that like Elmin's going to have to commit something anyway. I much would have rather he'd done the Miri first, because when Barristan then passes, it shows that Scream has activated, so he's given more time for Leon to have more information. That being said, the difference in activations was always going to mean this exact thing happened. And really, I don't know if Leon had changed what he would do based on that movement anyway. So, yeah, it's a bit of like, I wouldn't have done it that way. But to be honest, the difference is so small that I don't think Leon would have been able to pick up an advantage from it. Screamers on the right-hand side, again, like we were discussing, potentially looking to flank around that side of the board. Understandable, very much what I'd expect. I really don't like this move.
Why? What's wrong with it?
My issue with this move from Elmin is he's plastering himself further into this left-hand corner. Now that he's directly blocked in by the palisade, he's effectively parallel to the palisade now. Whereas before he was offset, he could just walk into the right-hand corner. Now he's going to have to cav move and then march. He's going to have a worse angle in the positioning into that final right-hand corner. And also, he's got Skahaz's unit in the way. So the only way I can see, and this is again from Leon's perspective, what I think I can see is I don't think he has any opportunity to do anything else but move Skahaz forward here into this gap off the back of the palisade.
Yeah.
And if he does that, I know I can activate the Outriders last, shift 2 inches back, and get a free shot if I particularly want to. Most importantly, removing that weakened token.
And then you start next round. Well, you just do
With a back side.
like you do whatever you want. I think like what I would consider if I were Elmin here is just destroying this palisade, opening up the space. So yeah, you have the whole.
I don't think he started within an inch.
Well, then maybe he should.
Which would be a mistake, because that's what I would do. I would probably.
Yeah, in general, you want to start within 1 inch here, because like why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Or maybe just to get some more range. Yeah. Interesting. Oh yeah, he is going forward. So he wants to try to force the Outriders. Or maybe he's just measuring a shift now? Maybe. Well, if he has Swift Reaper, because it looks like he might have, maybe he just wants to... He could use it to destroy the palisade if he made that mistake, but he doesn't seem really interested in that. Maybe he wants to use it for his own advantage, like just to defend himself. Yeah. Or Leon measuring Drogo charge into Outriders. Oh no, wait, it's Elmin. Okay.
So yeah, but so this is huge. So it's worth remembering we still haven't seen the tactical reposition from Jorah being used here, and every unit's within short range of Jorah. So at the top of the Elmin is about Elmin has activated a unit and activated those Outriders and repositioned them. Leon has two options here. He can activate the Outriders or the Blood Riders, and Elmin can then use the shift 3 at the post this next movement to counter the next movement, if you will. So the Outrider shot, he might deliberately move forward with Skahaz now or in a minute to then shift 3 back. And I know that seems like a really silly thing to do, and it kind of is, but it can assert pressure on which unit's going to activate, because he's got the tool to be able to not suffer the malice, if you will. I really don't disagree with what we're likely to see here from Leon, which is just a positioning of Drogo, probably quite close to the left-hand side of the board.
Oh,
And
maybe
I
even.
mean, you could go for the charge,
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter because he still takes the -1 from the hedge anyway.
you don't, right?
Do you not?
No, I think it was a ruling in community FAQ that we ignore this.
Oh Jesus!
Big,
Fair enough.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't make sense if like you know well why. So
I do know the argument why. I've made the argument why, and I think it's silly.
we have Queen
so
being played. Okay, yeah. So that means that Drogo will not have abilities during his activation. I guess just save assumption from just
during
to
his
be safe.
turn, right?
Yeah, but
It's during his turn.
Yeah. So that means that,
That
he cannot really.
yeah, but that's yeah, but it also means the important bit, which is if it's every turn, he also loses Warcry for the rest of the round.
Yeah. Well, so
which
he decides to just destroy Palisade.
that comes out, you're actually just way better off just not coming forward because the whole point is you wanted to move forward and Warcry.
Yep.
There's no point doing that now.
Yeah. And yeah, it makes also sense from Albin's perspective because like you are risking getting discharged here and losing like 8 wounds maybe.
Yeah.
And the unit doesn't hit that hard once you turn off its abilities.
And
it's only abilities? Oh, and also tactics card, so you cannot play Swift Reaper or anything. Oh, I mean, at this point you couldn't anyway, so. But no reroll.
we could now actually, ironically, you could play Swift Reroll on it, Swift Reaper on it now because it's not his turn.
Yeah.
you could actually use that on his opponent's turn.
That's
but yeah,
that's funny card.
I hate it.
Why?
And I know you know why, because it caused a community FAQ question. And anything that causes a community FAQ question is something that I think I hate because it means it's badly written.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that I hate the design. It's just anything that's poorly written that causes those kind of debates is just something that I get annoyed by.
We do see Takripa being used from Jorah to move back Outriders, and now we see Leon as his activation pushing with his own Outriders.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. And now, like, I don't think there is much good to do from Elmin's side. You just have your flank of your Skahaz open, quite wide open.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably not going to take a huge amount of damage here. That's not to say you'll take none, but you're going to see Zarro come out onto bags, which is what we expect, Zarro bags. We then probably, I personally might see or might think we see one of two things, which we see a Miri Swords, zone replace heal 1/2 tokens, again putting the weaken token out, or you'll see a Letters Take to put the weaken token out again that way. It opens the swords again, but it is an option. The alternative is we see, which I personally think would be the much more prescient play, taking the horses.
Interesting because now with this Palisade, it helps Leon more because now he can easily block Outriders, so you cannot charge them. And with how your cavalry is positioned, you cannot I don't think you can do it at all.
You have to horse followed by horse followed by swift this turn probably to get a charge onto the flank of these guys.
Yeah,
it's unlikely.
Okay. Oh, we see Xara token being used on the shot, just so they roll fewer dice.
And there's the weekend.
Yep. Why didn't he reroll a 3?
Maybe he only wanted to reroll the precisions.
Maybe. But you're saving on 4.
Saves one.
That would be an interesting choice. I'm not sure if I would be that afraid of precision on this unit. I rather don't get hit at all. Yeah. So that's what, 2 wounds? Yeah, just 2 wounds from this attack. For a Zara token? But he only has 1?
He's used one, doesn't he? He just used one.
Yeah, so he didn't gain any around 1 as well.
Why did he not take any wins there?
Seems they are talking about something. I'm not sure. I don't think it's lag, so...
It's 4 armor.
Yeah.
Flank 5s.
Is he?
There's something we're missing here.
I mean, 2 is fail for sure.
2 is a fail, as is the 4.
Yeah.
And
He cannot. Oh, Varys token to heal. That's fine.
he's a Varys, right? Yes,
Yeah.
down 1 Varys.
Yeah, makes sense to use it here.
So the other thing here, which is quite important, and I perhaps didn't, fully articulate with the swords play, he does actually choose to go down the route of taking the horses, which I personally think was the right play. Yeah, this is what I would have liked to see. There is also the opportunity here, which we perhaps missed, or Elmin perhaps missed, using the shift 3 jaw at the very start of the round to shift that unit along to they're within 1 inch of the palisade. To then, when he takes swords at the top of the round, could actually swords kill the palisade.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure.
What it's worth, guys. Never move like this. Yeah, never move like this, guys. I think he might have been all right, but because you're near the palisade and you're never allowed to travel across it laterally, you should always do these movements properly as outlined in the rulebook. Never. I know people do it for ease, and when you've got a big open board, yeah, you can. Like, it's just 18 inches middle to middle. Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
But like for this, when you're near objectives, if you're near terrain, if you're near enemy units, and you're anywhere close to them, always do it as outlined in the rulebook, because if you shorthand the movement, you can run the risk of breaking the rules.
Yep, that's a great point. But okay, it's also to come back to the opening from Leon, we see him just trading, getting a Xaro token and trading for Varys token, 1 Xaro token, and
a weaken token.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, that's absolutely huge. He also got a shift, which who cares? But like,
a lot of value from this play.
Yeah.
So wait, do we see the? Yeah. Okay.
He goes for the horse, and he goes for this. Now, I do think this is the right thing for him to be looking at. It does leave swords open, as we discussed. The reason I would have liked the swords myself is that if he'd have taken swords now, he turns on the ability of the pikeman, the new one that I forget the name of.
Combat Master.
Is it Combat Mastery Pikeman or something stupid like that?
No, the defense.
Defense. There we go. God.
I hate this ability, honestly, but it's still something. So.
I mean, I don't hate it. It's a way of introducing an ability to a unit for a small.
Yeah, it's just the zone selection hurts me a lot. It's like,
I mean, it hurts everyone a lot.
Yeah, just pick any other zone and we can talk.
Yeah.
We have Kingsman with way better ability on a crown. And yeah, here
we needed a buff
another
by
shot.
being big, and oh god, that's an awful roll for an unweakened attack. We see 1 wound, which he saves.
Yep.
So just 1 wound, yeah.
And panic test. Oh.
Which he passes, yeah.
Yeah, maybe roll it at the same time. Yep. And Barista onto Skahaz.
That's a completely personal thing. I like people to roll their defense dice, then we agree how many wounds you've taken from the hits. Then when that's happened, you roll the panic dice.
Yeah, but like I cannot complain about, like, if there is a vulnerable token, then there is whole different discussion. But I guess there is nothing wrong with that here. It's like, but yeah.
So in this particular instance, there isn't, because Targs don't have any interaction with the panic test. But you don't give the opportunity to a Lannister player to play like a Hear Me Roar. There's a whole like interactivity bit with the game where for me it's like do the steps in the order they're supposed to be done in, and look, everyone's guilty of skipping a few things here and there, but do the order that things are supposed to be done in, and explain it to your opponent at the time as to where in the steps you are, because that's how you're going to be best suited to having a conducive game.
Indeed. Remember to follow your triggers.
Follow your triggers.
You need to give your opponent a chance to react. Yeah,
I will. I have some recorded games where, when I get round to editing them, there's going to be some real memes involved on remembering your triggers.
What do you mean? What games?
A certain little league called the Draft League, Sophie.
This one. Oh,
So,
you recorded the games. Nice.
Yeah, recorded the games.
Did you enjoy the format so far?
I absolutely think the format is, on the most part, hugely liberating and the most fun I've had playing the game for some time. And not because I've been winning. It's actually a lot to do with the fact that people are forced to play the game of A Song of Ice and Fire and think about what they do as game moves, etc., rather than just putting strong things on the board and playing strong things all the time.
It was a weird experience for me because like I need to learn things like once again. That's not just
I've loved it. I've
Yeah.
absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Because
you cannot do
it's
what you
being able
always do. You need to like adapt.
Yes. There's a fantastic moment in the second game against Larks where it's somewhat luck, but also it's like just, I don't know, knowing the game really well. I don't know how you'd explain it, but I managed to make a unit that's great at retreating, performing an exact number of 0 retreats across a whole game. Or is that they make 1 at the very start or something? They're never allowed to retreat for the rest of the game because of positioning. I love it.
So for those of you who don't know or didn't see a video on Mick channel, the draft format is where you basically have a random pool of items from which you select one item, you pass it to the next player, and you get like 20 items to build the list from any faction. So there is like no
24.
restrictions. Yeah.
Well, 23 for those of us who had certain people lose things from their packs. So
hey, I told clearly that I lost an item, and no one cared. So sorry.
I know.
Yeah, and you can end up with like crazy things, like Targaryen deck with only cavalry units, and then mounted Stannis as a commander, and like in my list I have Bowen March as an NCU and Alistair Florent. And it's like really interesting to play against all these lists because there is a lot of new stuff going on. Like I played against Thomas with Free Folk deck, and God, I hate Free Folk deck. It's just Endless Horde is just too good.
It is.
Yeah, and then like he had actually strong infantry.
Yeah. Put all that work into killing a unit of actual hard to kill unit, like I don't know, Kingsman or something.
Yeah.
And then a unit of Raiders pops out, and you're like, oh my god, this is the worst. Whereas if you kill the unit of Raiders and another unit of Raiders comes out, it's like, well, more of the same.
Yeah. So if you are interested in format, you can go check out Turning Around YouTube channel to see Mickey recording from when you drafted list or like a live stream footage.
And the recordings of the game are going to be up soonish once I got some more things sorted out.
Yep.
We see quite a heavy amount of movement going on here, like checking various different positions. We're currently on Leon's turn, I believe, where he's looking. He's going for he's choosing to take the cavalry maneuver to reposition this unit into a different location. And then off the back of this, we'll be making a ranged attack at short range, I believe, into that Barristan unit. He may try shooting the Screamers here, though, in the flank.
Might. I'm not sure if you want to, but yeah. And this way you can block Screamer charge from happening, which is, you just waste your opponent's time while still doing your thing. And Skahaz probably still not in range of Palisade, or maybe he is now?
He's not. No, he's not.
So yeah, he should have destroyed it immediately. Now he's just going to suffer because of that. Yeah.
Or even if he doesn't destroy it, just sit within an inch.
Yeah.
You know.
There is no
then activate. You could activate Skahaz and then destroy it now, and that would just absolutely open the game up for these Screams.
Yeah. Oh, also a small misplay, you could say. We see Varys passed, like just flipped, instead of claiming a quadrant. Yeah.
Yeah. That will come back to bite Elmin because you're going to see the Screamers and the Outriders from Leon coming to this in sector here.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make a massive difference because that's an 8-point versus a 7-point, which Elmin is winning. But it does mean that Leon can bring the other screamers in to challenge the zone. I'd really like to see Varys over in the top left corner, putting pressure on Drogo's zone.
Indeed. Okay. So yeah, Leon going for a shot on Skahaz once again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Three more dead.
Panic. Yep. Slowly getting that.
This is the difference, and we said the kind of major difference is the difference between all cav and that one infantry unit. The ranged units for one of these two players has been absolutely being able to start making impactful plays on the board. We have not seen Elmin open around where combat is inevitable, if you will. But this is this kind of level of effectiveness of only stripping one rank, sure, but this is what you are hoping to see from Elmin at the top of next round. And I'm already predicting now that that's not going to be possible for Elmin to do, because I think there's going to be more important moves he'll need to be making. We see Miri come down letters, healing the one, putting the double tokens out. An absolute classic. And it's just going to be a weekend again. Yeah. Another weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, just even if you don't do damage, you still use resources of your opponent. So like you don't need to kill him now. Like, eventually, if he runs out of Xaro and Varys tokens, like you are getting upper hand out of it. Oh, we see Scary Justice being discarded. I guess it's not that easy to play in this matchup because Targaryens don't really target that much. Is it? What can you trigger?
Yeah, they don't.
I mean, you could even trigger it after Barristan was used.
If you used Barristan on a friendly unit.
But I guess then you can, because it targets the friendly unit as well, so...
Yeah,
it could be removed.
You can just cancel Justice with Barristan. So, like, I mean, there's other things you could do, though, like there's Swift Repo. Oh no, what targets a friendly unit from an enemy? Warcry.
Yeah.
What Swift Repo is there? Enemy and enemy.
No,
Warcry is the only one.
Drogo doesn't have sudden retreat.
Drogo still have his card that buffs attacks on an enemy unit.
Yeah, but I don't think we are going to see this one being played this way.
I don't, but in theory. Adravat, you could use it on Adravat.
There is it makes sense to discard it in this matchup. It's interesting that of all factions, the Targaryens are the ones that get so many abilities interacting with targeting. Like you have Barristan, which is notably one of the harder NCUs to use if you don't know how targeting works, and now you have also Skahaz, which would really
also one of the worst. The genuinely worst cards in the world to understand how it interacts. Now, I know Community FAQ has ruled on this, but Unstoppable Advance.
Oh, no.
That absolutely miserable card that is the bane of Boisterous Charisma, or was the bane of Boisterous Charisma.
Like, for those of you who don't know what's the issue with this card, it's basically FAQ wants you to pre-declare all the targets for your ability before you use the said ability. And here you cannot really pre-declare all the targets because
you don't know where you've moved.
Yeah, you shouldn't decide where you move before you move. Like this totally messes up the sequencing. And even if you do, there are things from your opponent that could like interrupt it. Like for example, hidden traps. So he could make you move less, but he doesn't need to decide at this moment. So that's a mess of an interaction.
It's the worst thing in the actual game in terms of understanding how it interacts with things. But yeah, let's not dive into that. There's a reason why it was community FAQ'd, and we came to an agreement on a solution to making it not miserable, and that's all that matters.
All you want is to game to be easy to play, or like playable or enjoyable.
Playable.
Yeah. We have swift
rather
popping
than-
used from Elmin just to move around Shavepate. Interesting, because it doesn't seem like you gain a lot from this position. You still are getting shot in the flank. And then he just... Oh, yeah. That makes more sense. Yeah, we see Jorah moving to destroy the palisade. And now you have open way to charge with Skahaz into Outriders. But then you are getting countered by like at least one unit. And I don't think that like pikeman charge is ideal for you. Yeah, but I guess those are Outriders. Like you hit them with anything and they just lose wounds. And we see Leon measuring his Khal Drogo charge onto Skahaz. Do you think that would be a good charge from Leon right now?
Yeah. No, actually. It wouldn't be a good charge, not because he can't do it, but because of the tempo swings here. Like, he does have the assault orders off crowns, remember? That's probably what he might be looking at in hand. The biggest reason, though, for me, so it goes to the Swift Repo here. The biggest reason I don't like this, and diving into the melee here myself, is even though he may kill Skahaz, he may make a big dent, I think he leaves himself open to a unit of screamers. The Outriders, admittedly, are weakened.
Oh,
and
another Queenslav being played.
Okay.
Sorry, go on.
I just think you dive into the mouth of a fight that you don't need to be in.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that, like, Elmin opens next round.
Yeah. Especially when most of his units are not activated yet.
Yeah. Just playing tempo, and I know why Leon's doing this, and it's the obvious read here is he's got assault orders in hands, so he can go take on the charge with the option to then assault orders when in melee combat, get the kill, retreat out. I would have loved to have just seen Elmin charge the screamers in and just tie them up.
Yep. Can screamers make it into Drogo? Or you mean the Jorah screamers?
Yeah, if he charges, I mean, if he. You mean the Screamer Co screamers, right?
Oh.
Screamer Co screamers can be charging Drogo here if he charges her, surely. Because Skahaz can activate, so you can just shift to the side if he's alive.
Yeah. Ooh.
And actually, what Elmin can do on the set for charge, if he's allowed to use it, is shift to the right-hand side anyway, opening the charge lane immediately for the screamers.
We do see
He does go for
Drogo
it,
going for
he
the
rolls
charge.
one.
Skahaz. Does he even
And he
make it?
misses the charge?
Yeah. Oh, that doesn't look good, honestly. I think that might lead to end of Khal Drogo.
I don't think Khal Drogo dies here because you've got Miri, so you're going to see weakened and panicked come out onto the unit that doesn't charge, and also a heal one if he fails. And he saves and takes any wounds. He passes morale check. Oh no!
No. It's base moral base 5, and then +1 from 3, and +1 from Iron Resolve. So he would need a double one.
He doesn't get +1 from. He wouldn't get the +1 from Iron Resolve.
Oh right, you don't have abilities.
Yeah. That's why I was more interested in looking at that, thinking it's a fail, but it's not because they're base 5.
So yeah, that now. I'm curious to see what will Leon do in this situation, because you still are open to 3 of enemy units, and his first activation next round. But obviously, Elmin should act now, because if Khal Drogo doesn't get tied up, then we still see assault orders being used from Miri crowns. Yeah, and we'll probably see a charge onto Khal Drogo flank. It's also nice because you don't get weakened on that one. So only Skahaz attack will be weakened.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Nope. No card being played. So 7 dice on 3 from Screamers. Let me bring up the profile.
It's 7 dice and 3s, isn't it?
Yep. For those of you that are not aware. And with Sundering, so on flank, it will be...
Sundering and flank is -2s, so
Ooh.
3s. 4s goes to 6s.
I think they are having a discussion about Xarot.
Whether or not he used his arrow.
Yeah. I think it's quite obvious.
Timing!
I mean, there is also enemy Xaro, but Elmin would have to declare his Xaro first. And if he doesn't, then...
It also doesn't work.
I'm pretty sure it works. And
No, it doesn't.
Why? Why doesn't it work?
Because his says you attack at a higher rank, right?
You are treated as having +1 rank.
Yes. So he goes from 2 ranks to having how many ranks, Sophie?
I mean, I think we had that discussion and we agreed that like you apply
Well, the thing is,
only after.
yeah, I mean,
if you're
I personally don't think it works. I think Zaro always wins the defensive matchup. If you're at max ranks.
If you have +1 and -1, then you are attacking at the same as you are now, right? But yeah, what we see is just Xaro using his token and Leon not using his. Yeah, Elmin used his token, Leon didn't, so yeah.
Yeah.
I think they went with the interpretation I said.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's basically... Most important thing is that they agree on what's happening. It's like, I guess if both of them are fine with that, then there is not much to say from our side.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Panic being passed, so just 7 wounds from discharge. And yeah, Leon's Xaro will not work on Skahaz because of their profile. 7/7/4. So they will still roll 7 dice. Oh, okay. Leon thinking of bringing his own screamers into the fight. Yeah, reasonable. The question is, can Drogo survive the charge from Skahaz? He should be able to, but it can go different ways.
I think you have to, at this point, Miri Crowns. I don't like the Screamer move. I understand what he's going to try and do. I would much rather you Miri Crowns, heal 1, weaken, and panic Skahaz here.
Yeah. Makes sense. Especially that opening next round from... Like, if Elmin opens with swords into Screamers next round, he will roll only 4 dice with Zaro. Okay, we do see him going for a charge, and I think he should make it. Yeah, he's probably making it.
4 is enough, right? I can't remember. 4
it should be. Switch stand. Oh no, it's actually not.
No.
Damn, it's not looking good for Leon right now.
No, I really just don't think this Drogo charge was worth taking. I don't really know why he thought this was the option. This is all created because of this Drogo charge.
Yeah.
That he failed on a 1, to be fair. He failed it on a 1, which is 1 in 6. Which you've got to take risks. But with the control, the control came out. You just... Yeah, just don't take the charge. If the control piece came out, you just don't take the charge.
Yeah.
The controller's gone. You can afford to risk it by not playing quick.
Yeah, and Outriders are probably in better situation than Drogo, because I'm not sure if Screamer could make his charge into Outriders. But this way you allowed for Elmin's Screamer to be in the game this round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting that this charge wasn't enough. Okay.
There is one thing, and we didn't talk about this, which I do appreciate. That we'll have to see what Elmin does here. Okay, Elmin goes to the charge. There is a legitimate excuse or decision-making point that if Elmin didn't go for this at this moment in time, he'd then be able to realign Drogo with an Assault Order's crowns, healing the one, realigning to the top, and stopping the flank charge because of the streamers moving into place. That is
sorry, go on.
That's the kind of thing that I would look for if I know I'm in a bad situation, and know that I could potentially leverage that to prevent my opponent making an attack I want them to make. That being said, it shows that Leon is behind. It's in a position he does not want to be in. We see 5 hits.
Yep, 7 hits, and we also see Baristan being used to cancel mark target from Skahaz. Ooh,
Yeah, I think so.
That's Drogo gone.
That's a dead unit.
Yep, and now Assault Orders won't really help you this round.
No. And I'm going to throw it out there. I actually think this is potentially really bad for Leon.
Yeah. Sorry, Kartik gone. Thank you, Mikkel.
He's just too aggressive. I was going to say too aggressive. Like, he just didn't need to make that play.
We see potential overrun from Elmin because he measured if he can align streamers. But I guess
he can't.
Yeah.
So
he just
that card again goes unplayed in another game.
No, overrun is great. What do you mean? You can't.
Okay, Gregor.
Oh, that's quite funny. Well, yeah, when me and Mickey first met in real life, I was playing Gregor on 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, LGT. Those were good times.
Also, 99% convinced that Gregor is probably the only commander that regularly uses the card-based version of Overrun, because you get to choose when you have it in hand, and you can use it on multiple different units. And the Clegane affiliation is obviously great. Plus, he does 2 auto wounds, which is more than any other Overrun commander does. And I still don't think that Gregor uses it that often.
That's true.
I only ever see dragons use it in Targs, and even then, dubiously.
Often, you have people like wanting to get some of their cards swapped to Overrun. Oh, if only this commander could have Overrun, that would be so good. And yeah. I often would just go and disagree because Overrun really isn't that good of a card.
No.
You much rather would have something that actually helps you kill a unit than that awards you from killing one unit. Yeah, we have some people in the chat saying that this is game. It might be the case, but that's 4 points for Elmin. Yep, it would be really hard. For Leon to recover from that. But we'll see. Yeah, man, this went downhill for Leon really fast. Like, a moment ago, he was in a really good situation, and this 1 failed charge, 2 failed charges, now means that he's behind a whole unit and 3 points. See sudden retreat being discarded by Elmin. Overrun from Leon. Leader by example, probably played somewhere earlier. Okay. And here we have Elmin opening around with Xarobag's heal Skahaz. And get back token.
This is like a huge swing here. So it's not even just a unit down, but he's now VPs down. Leon has to fight his way back into this game. Like, he basically has to, because Elmin could just sit on two zones for the rest of the game and never do anything. Leon is going to have to remove some trays from the board, and it ain't happening very easily.
Yeah, it's not that easy, especially with enemy Xaro. Unless you just use your own Xaro to block it, but yeah.
We talked in the early game, right, and before in the list building, in the list selection phase. We spoke about how the Drogo list was predicated around Drogo and the Outriders being the 2 main bodied units. Whereas Elmin was spread across 3 units or 4 units a bit more evenly. It wasn't the way I would like to play because I think that spread just isn't as effective. But he's killed one of the 2 big units, and that is now put, it's an 8-point deficit, 9 if you consider the commander as like a point attachment, 12 in terms of zone control, or 11, sorry, in terms of zone control. Points on the board. Like, this is a massive hole for Leon. And here we stand is really hard when you're down on number of points on the board. Like, it actually just is. Maths doesn't math very well for you.
Yep. And here we see, Barry's down to swords, shoot with Outriders from Leon.
Yep.
And yeah, he probably doesn't want to move Outriders much to keep the charge block up on the Screamers. But on the other hand, yeah, you don't really have anything to help the Outriders if Jorah charges in. Okay. Yeah. He's shooting into Skahaz, it seems. So 7 dice on 3+ with weaken token. And precision.
Zara token use?
Yeah, Zara token used from Elmin, so only 4 dice. 2 hits, and I would assume no weaken used there. Yeah, no weaken, so just 2 saves on force. Passes both of them. So
yeah, I mean,
this is probably a situation where Leon will need some luck to win, and yeah, the question is where do you get them? Yep. If you don't get a kill this way, you probably are looking to get to find a kill on end of the round into next round. But yeah, the question is if Elmin will allow for it. And we do see sudden retreat being discarded, so maybe that means that he has another one, just to make sure that he will not get double tapped by a random unit.
I don't think he cares. I actually think he doesn't care.
Do you?
Yeah, so I think he did care, but he discards it because he knows that he can just leverage the position that he's in at the moment to just keep the game rolling in that direction. Oh, sorry, yawning. I just don't think he needs the retreat.
And we see another NCU being flipped. I think Leon is getting nervous a bit. I mean, reasonable. You just lost your commander and main unit. Yeah, I did have some fun, I forgot. So we just have 3 hits from Varys into Outriders, resulting in 3 wounds, and Varys and Varys onto letters to weaken another Screamers. And yeah,
we see here that Elmin opts to do the shift 3 with the Swift Repo, or the Sudden Tactical Repo, sorry. And we don't see the flip from Zaro because mystery of good timing or something like that. I don't know, but
yeah.
And I don't think that Leon can pass an NCU here now that that Screamer's got an open charge into the flank. I just don't think you can pass an NCU here necessarily.
Yep.
You know what? I'm surprised. He goes for it anyway. Yeah. I'm really, really surprised we talked about this game being a movement game, and then we see Drogo diving into the heartland of Elmin's list without really any backup in range, and him thinking that was a good idea. Like,
well, we'll have a chance to ask them what was their thought process.
Yeah, definitely.
At the end, okay, and we see Jorah going on to charge, rolling a 1. But yeah, I don't think. Oh, that changes a lot. We see Xara token being used here. Makes sense.
But triple tokened. It's only 4 dice, sure, but like, I do love Jorah Screamers. I will say that.
We know, Mickey. We know.
Yeah.
Saves 1.
Spend the vulnerable. Probably not. I wouldn't bother. I would actually. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you still have Mark Target available from Skahaz. Oh.
Yeah, I'd use it.
Not being used. And a panic passed on a 5 as well. Do we see 3 wounds? So maybe we'll go for it. Sorry?
Would I reroll this? I would reroll this, actually. Vicious front is going to be a
the
6,
So yeah, it's better to use it on vicious front.
but that's not happening right now. Oh, this turn, I don't think.
No. Yeah, maybe.
I think Leon just activates and retreats.
Or even just goes for
Or
horses.
takes horses.
Yeah. Yeah, the lack of sudden retreat really hurts Drogo in this matchup, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's just what I said about Drogo. Like, Drogo loses sudden retreat, and it's one of the best cards in the matchup.
Yep.
And it means that if you're playing the matchup, you have to respect Drogo and what he can do. It is way more important to have Drogo doing well than it is. So this is another 2-up charge. It's way more important to have Drogo doing well in these games rather than like just having a generally good like game plan and things like that. You need Drogo to be putting in work, and
you can do that.
That means you can't be alone. Yeah.
Okay, so another 2-up charge.
Is that a 2-up or a 1-up?
2-up. I don't think, or maybe. That's.
Yeah.
I'm not. I wouldn't say that it's auto in. I think it's a 2-up, but we'll see. Oh, ooh. Yeah, that's really not what Leon wanted to see here. If you make this search, you maybe have some chance to stay back in the game, to get back in the game. But yeah, you need some luck.
That's 3 charges in a row that he's missed.
Yep. I mean, one of them was 5-up, but.
Yeah, I mean the 5-up I didn't expect him to hit, but
yeah, but
like
you need to make some charges if you're playing.
You do, but this comes back to something which we haven't talked about this game, or perhaps haven't really ever discussed in a grand scheme of it, which is respecting movement. Like again, we just see Leon. He's positioning himself way further out. He's not actually in auto charge range. He made those moves in the backfield without thinking exactly how far forward he wants to come, and it matters. Like it really does. Like
it does add up when it's third failed charge.
Oh, but it was a 2+. Yeah, but there's a 1 in 6 chance you fail rather than it being automatic.
Oh, another. We see another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a Screamer Kodo, so he just pops the order, drops the vulnerable, gets the rerolls anyway. He's not making another attack with this unit this round, so you might as well just use it. We see Barristan get used. Fair enough. But it's better than not using it, right? So it's still 4 hits.
And we can be used. Only 3.
Into 3. On 6s for the reroll for vulnerable.
Oh.
He doesn't make any of them.
Yeah. And the panic on 4, I assume. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
But still, soon you're gonna run out of 0 tokens. Wait, didn't he use?
No, he didn't. Got cancelled by Barristan.
No, I don't mean the order. I mean 0 token for him to only roll 4 dice.
No, I don't think he did.
Okay.
It's a weekend. I think you can just take the risk and say no. It's fine.
Mm.
And you know, well, I say no rerolls.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Yeah, well, it was no rerolls charge actually, so he can take that. He can take that risk with a weekend and no rerolls. Yeah, I think he can. That's
okay. So overall, the 2 ones on the charge do help a bit because, like, he took 2 charges and lost total of 6 wounds, so he still can get back in the game. But yeah, not if you stay in combat with your unit.
But it's pool noodle time. Like this is pool noodle time because the game is now just going to be either Leon stands and fights or he retreats, and if he retreats, Elmer just walks forward. And so like I call it pool noodle because like I just feel like you're just going to end up with a bunch of units hitting each other constantly with pool noodles. It's not going to be that effective. And so we see field control.
Miri onto horses into assault orders into attacks from skirmishes. Oh,
It's going to be a weakened attack as well.
and yeah, we'll see weekend coming back soon. So,
That's 2 hits.
yeah, it's gonna take some time to kill a unit like that.
Yeah, it is. Fails them both.
I mean,
He's got the panic.
oh,
Hey?
no, it's a pass because there is a tree nearby.
No, but I would reroll. I'd reroll.
Yeah,
This doesn't get better
sure.
for you.
Oh,
No.
yeah, it does
Reroll
also
the
get
same
worse.
thing. Sure.
So now, yeah, Leon's no, not all activated. He still has Outriders. Yeah, oh, yeah, it makes sense. He just wants to stop Skahaz charge on Outriders and then activate them and retreat. But I don't think we're getting that with Almin still having 3 activations left. Is it?
I think you can.
Sorry.
Field control. There's a lot of things you can do here.
Does it? You can move Outriders, but you're still in basically same position.
You're not entirely, because I don't like this, but you can shoot into this melee. You can also decide to come around on the flag. I'd have gone further. I'd have moved further myself.
He is
But-
shooting with Outriders, and we see another Zara token being used, so we're resulting in 3 hits.
3 hits.
Do you
Weakened
that?
token being
Yeah.
popped. Yeah. 1
Only
hit.
one. Yeah.
He's vulnerable. He doesn't save it anyway.
Oh, panic on.
Panic check
Almin
onto
Screamer's
him.
pass.
He's fine.
Yeah, double pass.
That's fine. Just a small note: anyone taking panic checks from being shot into ranged combat, don't do them until it is time to do them, which is in the after attack is being made portion. It's quite clear in the rulebook that is when you do them, because they happen after your opponent's panic check. They happen after the effect of anything of your opponent's panic check. So I've seen it before where people go to heal, like, oh, I pass a dauntless check, I heal one, and somebody else passes their check and does a stubborn tenacity wound, and they say, oh, well, that just cancels the dauntless, and it's like, no, you'd have taken the wound first, and that would have killed you, and you would have never made the dauntless morale check. So,
Oh, he also
Seen it
got
happen.
Screamers unactivated, so we see them now hitting
yes,
back into
Yeah.
Screamer going. Okay, not bad.
and he passes.
Yeah. You
No,
can,
no, this isn't bad.
you
But the
can
problem is
look
we
at-
haven't seen
Yeah.
Skahaz charge this unit yet.
And you maybe would expect to see to get a kill or try to get a kill on this unit next round. You're just opening with Screamer charge or swords.
Yeah, but I mean, you've now got to activate the Outriders. You don't have a choice.
Yep.
And Elmin still doesn't want to do this.
Indeed.
He's just opening the door to that Screamer unit. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, he doesn't have a choice. I mean, he can stand and fight if he wants, but that's not good.
Yeah, he could try to retreat 1 inch to the side, and maybe then.
You're still going to take Skahaz to the face, though.
Yeah, but maybe you
Like,
would rather take it onto Outriders than a Screamer flank.
I don't
I'm
think
not
there is a situation here. Actually, there might be. I haven't looked at the angle here. There may be a position whereby he can retreat on the Outriders and charge block Skahaz.
Oh, that looks rough here. I don't think you can pull it off.
I don't know. I have to
Yeah,
work
okay,
out
you
the geometry of
get
it a bit. But
spin. Yeah, I see what you mean. A free for player enemy is acting up, but
so there's also the charge block onto the Screamers, like retreating backwards, angling in a way, and I don't know if it's possible, but stopping the 50% alignment and stopping the 100% alignment from Skahaz, and he just goes for an attack. Wow. Okay. And he does 2 hits.
What? Two? Yeah, that's.
I don't like this entirely because this is likely going to lead to that, which is a wound on the Outriders.
Yeah.
From stubborn tenacity. And now you're going to get clonked in the face.
Yeah. You sure? Okay, they seem to forgot about wound from stubborn tenacity.
Yep.
Okay, fire and blood.
Fire and Blood,
So yes.
Sundering and Vicious.
Oh, yeah, you can get both of them. So then no insight being used. Ah.
Oh no, he
Sundering
only
was
gets
over
one
there.
of them actually. He only gets one of them. He's
Oh yeah,
it's
he's blue.
beyond Mirion horse. So he goes. I'd go Vicious, I think.
I mean, if you want with vicious, you probably just use insight then. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean you take something if you particularly want to. I don't think make much.
Yeah, you are not
60
getting
degree, I
scarred.
So 6 wounds, panic. He's not dead. He
Yep.
may fail the panic test depending on
Okay, so I
if
don't
he uses
think
Vicious or not.
he didn't. I don't think he took vicious then. If yeah, they are. You can see, but by how long they
Yeah.
reaction.
Yeah. So
Wait, that should be a pass with a 3 here.
it's still a pass. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay, and he heals 1 from Dauntless.
Yes, which I don't think they've done. But
Sorry.
oh no, they did. He did do that. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. He was on 4 wounds
Yeah.
after the other.
Yeah.
Oh, another 3-1. Yeah, now.
It's just game over. Like this is game over not because he's winning on the board. It's just like the accumulation of VPs is that heavily skewed in Elmin's favor. That it's too difficult to come back quickly.
Yeah. What can you even do? It's like only you have only one screamer unit wounded anyhow. Oh, now he rolls at 6 on the charge from screamers. Yeah. So he probably just tries to kill them and overrun into Skahaz, I would assume. Can he?
I mean, I'd love if he gets the overrun into this.
Yeah, he can have another one.
He's got one in hand potentially.
Oh,
Jesus!
that's
Thank God for rerolls, eh?
Oh, now he needs to fail his
Still not great.
Oh god, that's not really great. Five wounds coming.
I will say that this game has really highlighted why Song is such a meme at the moment, with every attack just being, or the game being so heavily attack based. It's just what dice did you roll and what dice did my opponent roll, and
I mean,
that's what we see in this game.
Yes, but I think we can both agree that this game didn't come down to rolls.
No. So the game came down to poor positioning in round 2, and the game then descended into what dice people were rolling.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But this is why I don't. Season 5 for me has been a bit of an interesting one to watch, because it does just feel like you're watching people roll bucket loads of dice at one another, and
it's 40k all over.
Yeah, the movement side of the game seems to be more. It's actually more important than it's ever been, but it's less rewarded.
Why do you think it's more important?
Because I think if you get bad positioning, it's like we saw here. It's really hard to come back because you're just leaving it in the hands of the dice.
But then,
But you can come back because of that.
Okay. But do you think
You know what I mean? Like,
changed to make it so the positioning is more important now? Because it seems like in this regard, the game is very similar to last season.
yes. So I think with season 4, you were less likely to just go and get like trying to get yourself back into the game by tabling your opponent wasn't as feasible with every faction all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I feel like that's basically the game plan of, in some regards, I think that's the game plan of a lot of people. And when you've seen a lot of the streamed games here in this event, we've seen a lot of people basically play for tablings and virtually just not play the game mode.
Yeah.
And that to me is a season 5 issue, not a Song of Ice and Fire issue.
So we see another sudden retreat being played by Elmin. And now he goes with Varys onto swords to try to get a kill on Outriders. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's...
Did he keep the overrun? That's the question.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Yeah, I don't think it changes much now, but
No, it isn't. But it is incredibly funny that we talked about, like, before the game started, we talked about how Skahaz's unit just can't really be allowed to take part in the game.
Yeah.
And ever since that Drogo charge, Skahaz's unit has done
A lot.
everything in the game. Like, he's just been completely involved in the game. Like, it is. I am still baffled that Leon went for that, and I know he failed the charge.
Yeah,
but, like, I'm still baffled he went for it.
I agree. This is not a move you would expect from Leon in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm curious to see what their tough process was. And
Need panic fail.
yeah. Oh,
Doesn't get it.
I mean,
He
at
could
this
use the
moment,
panic
I
fail.
think he's going to fail it. Nah, okay.
Did he? He didn't use vicious.
You get this one.
This is another thing.
on Skahaz.
Literally, insight is so bad he didn't even use it when he could. Like,
Yeah, you're not losing anything off of using that. Yeah.
like, you're never, you're just not going to take 2 ranks worth of damage here. Like, yeah.
Yep.
And technically, you need to take 1 rank, and then Zara could drop him down a rank. But like, again, that's just not happening in this game situation.
Yeah. It all went really downhill once Drogo died. So
Well, when Drogo charged, I think Drogo failing the charge was actually like,
yeah.
oh shit, because he's halfway through the round, and nothing that Leon does from that point on has much impact in the game.
Yeah.
He can't impact that decision. I think he made that decision far too early.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm looking at their brackets for future rounds. But yeah.
It's double Elim,
Sorry?
so you know,
Yeah,
Leon gets the second shot because it's double Elim.
The winner of this game, so probably Elmin.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. Maybe he
Probably.
concedes in a moment.
Maybe he doesn't win. Maybe Elmin doesn't somehow win this. We see Robar versus Yorbo, right? Have we seen that, or that's still coming
no,
up? No.
It will happen this Friday, I think. And then we have Elmin in the final, and Leon will be playing against the winner of Robert versus Yorbo. So Targaryen against either Lannister or Martell. And then the winner of this matchup will come on to Grand Finale. So probably next week or in 2 weeks. Just the retreat. Yeah. At this point, it's just waiting for when they decide to call it.
Yeah, I mean, strictly speaking, Elmin actually, if nothing changes right now, Elmin will win at the end of the round.
Yeah.
He just automatically wins. Elmin could
go away from his computer.
Activate and pass with literally everything.
Yeah.
And I do not believe that Leon could possibly win this. I mean, there's a dubious debate whether or not the screamers that are vulnerable here in the middle on 1 wound, whether or not they can be charged, but I don't think he fits. So yeah, with that in mind, I mean, a crown zap, sure, like he could crown zap and kill them. But
yeah,
Elmin would need to do 1 thing in order to counter that crown zap in order to win the game.
I mean, he's probably doing it now.
Actually, yeah, as I say, he just takes the crowns himself. Right now, heals 1, puts 2 tokens on, and then wins.
It removes activation from your opponent. Yep. And so we are streaming on Discord now. For anyone that missed this, it will be later available on Hits and Crits YouTube channel. So come watch too if you want to see it again, or if you couldn't make it to the whole stream. Yeah. And big shout out to Hits and Crits for letting us upload it onto their channel, because it really helps us get it out to the people this way.
Yeah. And obviously all the stuff that Hits and Crits do is fantastic. Really looking to push some more life into the community and the community content, and the ridiculous activeness that Chris and the team have is really good to see. I would never say I've been in the same situation they've been in. They've been way more active than I've ever been, but they are putting a lot of work in, which I understand, and I really appreciate. And and hosting these VODs is a really good way of furthering that. So yeah, shout out to them. They're good people.
A lot of good effort from their side, and yeah, I gotta say, because they also streamed the games from Realms of Battle Europe. Those were some of the better streams I've seen from real life games. It's hard to get it right, and I think they are a good example of that. Did he fail another charge?
He just failed another charge.
Okay, we have reroll coming in. I don't think he's making.
Can roll two again. You roll the 3. Does he hit that one?
He should.
He does. Yeah, surely.
Yeah. Okay. You just don't look at Leon for a moment, and he's failing another charge. It's like he wants to do it.
I mean, when I said positioning is important, guys, I'm not lying to you, right?
Yeah, the guy that was for a moment first player in the ranking knows what he's talking about. Surprisingly.
For a moment, he says.
For a moment.
She says.
Yeah.
She says.
How long was that? Year?
I don't know.
I
don't actually know. I don't know. Like between Mikkel, myself, and Corellian or Leon, and technically Martin as well.
Yeah.
But he just rolled a D3 again, not the hit. So he trolled himself.
What?
Did anyone see that? I hope you all saw that. He just trolled himself real hard.
Him rolling D3?
He rolled the D3 rather than one of the hits or misses.
Okay. I missed this one.
Yeah.
And yeah. But I don't think.
And he's alive. And I mean, you just retreat 1 inch. I mean,
yeah.
This is quite literally game over.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter how well, in what score does that exactly, because it matters whether you win or lose. Yep.
Effectively single or what we call double elim event. So with it being an elimination event, it doesn't matter on your score really, and it will be a crushing, and that matters obviously for ELO change, which is really important. But obviously the UDs doesn't have any real effect on games as a whole.
Yeah.
Except on some stuff that I'm working on. Well, no. I'm working on some stuff in the background where people's UDs and things may or may not make an appearance at an event near you soon. I'm cooking some things up, and you'll see some of that new stuff coming to the likes of Hits and Crits soon, and Sophie and Leon and all that will get to be involved with all of that, which is going to be real fun and really silly. And
should I know what you're talking about?
No. There's only one.
Then good to know that I will be involved.
There's only 2 people. If you disclude myself, obviously, there's only 2 people who even know about what I'm doing at the moment, and one of them's Carlo for obvious reasons, and the other one is, I think, Isaac. I've talked to Isaac about it. No, I don't even think I've talked to Isaac about it. Talked to a coder about it anyway.
Big reveal from Mickey today.
No, not really. Not
really. Yeah, you don't reveal.
It's for the invitational.
Yeah, I think they called it. Yep.
They did. Yeah, they did. Cool.
So, yeah. That was interesting.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and for sure a quick one. Yeah, guys. So I think you need to request.
They do need to request to come and talk.
Wait, I'll just send you the invitations. Okay. Hello there.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Yep.
Commiserations to Leon, I think, is first and foremost, although not full commiserations because you get another shot at it. And congratulations to Elmin. Well done. We have questions. I know I have one absolutely burning question.
Yeah.
And the first question is for Leon, unfortunately. Leon.
Yeah.
When you saw him play a card that is very controlling, you lose your abilities, you can't get your tactics cards, etc.,
You
etc.
charge anyways. Yeah, that's what a smart person does. Yeah. Honestly, this entire sequence was stupid. I was stupid to go that far close to the palisade. I was stupid to not cancel his swift reposition with Barristan. And I was stupid to charge. So I get rewarded with the 1 on the charge, and I lose the game.
Fair enough.
I think that was fully deserved. Like I had 3 chances to make the right decision, and I failed them all.
Yeah. I mean, let's not forget that you both made it here, so for sure. Also, congratulations for that. And it's easy for us to backseat and use our hive mind.
Worth said it immediately, right? He kind of went for it, rolls the 1, and goes, "Why am I doing this? Like, why did I take the risk? What is wrong with me?"
You're sat there and you're like the meme of the guy rubbing his hands, and you're like, oh yeah.
Yep.
This is game over now.
Especially after the first, like I feel like the first round and the second round went like as well as it could have gone for me. Like I got 4 Zaro tokens. I made him spend a Varus and a Zaro token. Like I would have liked more damage with the flank shots. Like
you rolled shit on
doing 3 damage there on like 3 shots. Not the best, I would say, but
it got through the resources.
Yeah, just the resources being spent is nice for you. But
the fuck up was I thought that they were within an inch of the palisade, so I could get rid of it if he kind of tried that, and they weren't.
Yeah.
We spoke about that actually, and I was surprised, and I don't know if you ever even considered it on round 1, potentially just using Jorah's shift 3 to shift yourself closer when you realised the issue.
I didn't roll until round 2. That's
right.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, that's just a straight up misplay.
That kind of actually baited me. Like I feel like in my mind, I thought what I would want to do was just stay at long range with my outriders, right?
Yeah.
But you not being able to destroy the palisade, I thought might as well take the charge block, I guess. But
Galaxy brain.
Yeah. You got baited.
But yeah. And I could have just accepted him like using his resources and getting 1 charge, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like
you just run off.
Or that, yeah. Either run off or like at this point I still had 3 Zara tokens.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're killing me through that. So
yeah, and
especially
with Drogo charge, you just gave him additional target and put his screamers and outriders back into the game.
Yeah. I actually considered allowing the flank charge with the screamers because I had my screamers there.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is what it is. It happens.
Yep.
The dice for sure were not helpful to you later, but we talked about how positioning really mattered here, and this is sadly how it goes. But Mickey, any other questions from your side?
There was one question, and it goes back to list build. So we spoke about this a little bit before the game, and Elmin, it was really for yourself more than anything. You opt for a Screamer Co. Rerolls and vulnerable. Vulnerable, obviously, Screamer's already getting on the charge, and the rerolls usually you're charging. Obviously, most of the time, some of the time it won't be. Was this just a case of you had a point left and you didn't know what to spend it on, so you bought the best thing you could, or has it got a specific role? Did you look at perhaps including a Blood Rider instead of the Fortune Seeker, but decided against that? And what was your thought process?
So the Fortune Seeker is compulsory. Like Outriders without it just are half as good. You want the flexibility of, I mean, it's the flexibility of obviously being able to shoot always, but the combo with Zaro is just too good. So you can't not take the Fortune Seeker. So the Screamer Co to me is actually the best attachment generally on the Screamers because of when you get stuck into combat, which you will eventually, the capacity to always have rerolls, always have vulnerable is massive. And they're the kind of unit, especially with Jorah in the list, wherein you can actually go bottom top on people quite, I don't want to say super reliably, but you can go into the front of like reasonably tanky units and just go, I'm going to hit you for 14 with Sundering, with vulnerable and everything, and that's fine. Like you can't charge block my whole army, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he really facilitates them being quite reliable. Also, when you roll ones like an idiot, he lets you get rerolls. So
That's true.
It means
ones like an
getting
idiot.
those big flank charges, those critical turns, and you flub the one, you don't have to worry about it. And don't forget, Shavepate doesn't have the reroll card.
Yeah, he doesn't. He removes arguably one of the best cards that you guys have nowadays.
Yeah.
But he does keep sudden retreat, which is, in my opinion, the best card. So
good trade.
Yeah, it's a good trade, right? So he's got good stuff.
Well, no, but well done. Obviously, there wasn't a huge amount to really speak about in terms of to post round 2. I think it was all kind of like very much it's going in one direction.
Yeah, and the Targ matchup's going to be like that, right? Like if somebody gets up, they just kind of are just going to keep rolling.
Yeah.
Also true of Here We Stand as well, right? You knock a unit off the board, there's less chance to score. It's all just downhill.
Yep.
On that note, I guess the only question I had for you, Elman, really was and I'm not going to lie to you. I was a little bit disgusted at the start of round 1 when we jumped into the game just after we'd seen deployment and terrain and things. And I looked at your deployment and I was kind of like wanting to throw up in my own face. I couldn't help but look on the board and think, oh my god, you're so cramped. It feels like you've not got the space to expand. And round 1 played exactly as I thought it would, with Leon expanding across the board, loads of field control.
Yeah, you're not wrong. The problem is that he is fundamentally like twice as quick as me, right? Like I can't control the Blood Riders because he's got the Blood Riders, and let's say our Screamers are equal. My Outriders aren't able to kind of do what his Outriders are able to do, because if they're shooting, they're protected by the Khal, whereas mine have just got Shavepate kind of going like, I'm done. If I get the Shavepate like NCU disable cards, I can potentially do some work, but like he's mostly just going to be kind of staying out of range, and so I kind of need to play a bit tighter to bring him in a bit and then see what happens from there. But like fundamentally, despite how it went, it's quite an awkward game. Like I think Drogo has the advantage in the matchup, generally speaking, because he can play the field so well, and I think it's even more true in that scenario because he can just kind of his whole army can kind of go anywhere, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So wait, just to confirm, who plays Palisades? It was Leon, right?
No.
It was me, yeah.
You played Palisades. That's interesting.
Okay, I have one more
thought
question.
I will lose the range battle, because if his Outriders stand opposed to my Outriders, right? He has Varys, and his card, I can't remember the name.
Giscari Justice.
That strips my abilities. Queen's Law. Actually is really annoying against the Outriders, because I can't shoot on long range anymore.
Yeah.
So I thought I can't opt into a range battle. My thought was I'll get free damage onto the pikemen because they're an infantry unit, and then I'll kill them. But then I didn't kill them.
And then you lost Drogo off of that.
And then I lost the game.
Also, in shooting battle, tag repo from Jorah also helps, right?
Yeah, that also.
So
it was basically
my last
why I
question.
considered not swapping the priority role. So because the sides didn't matter, it was just about who was going to deploy last, and I considered it basically for like where the two units Outriders go, and I opted basically that I wanted more Shavepate cards.
Fair enough. Yep. My last question then, Elman. and you spoke about it being a mistake, and I have to ask the question now. Seeing as you placed the palisade, why the hell didn't you put your unit within an inch?
Yeah, I felt like I looked at it and I thought it was like that's it.
That's a shame.
Ah, well. Well, you know what though? We can safely say at least you just didn't roll a 1. So you know,
I mean,
there's that thing.
he did, but it didn't matter.
I mean,
Oh, you did later on, yeah.
Like twice.
On the unit that didn't matter though, right? Because he had Screamer Co. Ironically, of all those things.
It was Jorah's unit. It did matter.
It did matter on Jorah's
It
as
did
well.
like
There we
2
go.
damage because they had Zaro and a weakened token. So
So maybe one more question regarding just list building. Why did you decide to go for Skahaz as your second commander next to Mother of Dragons?
So we had an interesting kind of chat about that at the start. I like building list pairs wherein I kind of have a commander who I consider a bit of a catch-all, and I have a commander which I consider like a problem solver. And I find Dany is quite a good problem solver, but I don't like her in shit tons of matchups. He disagrees, but he's also played a lot more Mother of Dragons than I have. I've had like maybe 6 games with her, so I don't want to pretend I'm super experienced with her. Shavepate, on the other hand, I find because of his control cards and just general flexibility, can just play the field, and and it means that I can kind of just be like, not 100% sure which of their lists maybe they're playing. If I just play Shavepate, then I've got game all the time.
But seeing what you are up against now in the finals, do you think, like, if you had another chance, you would go for something else instead of Shavepate?
No. I still liked that choice. I mean, like maybe just for this exact matchup, like wherein the Drogo is better. But I mean, the reality is that we both thought that we were going to be getting 3, if not 4, Lannister players in the thing, and so we were actually just going to be smashing Mother of Dragons all day, freaking every day. And then it just kind of came down to who was playing not Lannisters, and both of us and Jikaru could have played kind of any faction, so hard to predict, right?
Yep, that makes sense.
I
Obviously,
guess if I was a Galaxy brain and I assumed that he made the same call that I did, and then like he's definitely playing Mother of Dragons because of all the fucking Lannisters and go down that route, but like that's next level prediction. That's not happening.
Yeah. So then, congratulations, Elvin, on making into the Great Finals. Do you think you can repeat your success if you meet big guy here once again?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Like I said, I think Drogo has the upper hand, generally speaking, and I don't think I'm gonna ask for 1 on the opening charge again.
That's very kind of you.
I think you should ask.
That feels like it's too much.
If you ask, he might give it to you anyway, though, right? Like it was worth asking.
Maybe he's nice. Okay, and
This time I won't ditch my unstoppable advance. I'll roll the 1 just for shock effect.
yeah,
and then
it's
pull out my
actually a
card.
decent card now. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
You just need to get fire and blood onto it. Yeah, and then Leon, do you think you can, because now you will be up against Robert or Yorbo, depending on who wins lower final? Do you feel confident in your ability to win against them?
I mean, I've beaten them both before, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you actually have.
I should beat you right just now, but we can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will have my revenge. I don't lose to many people twice often.
I can personally attest that it's sadly true. So minus 40 elo teaches him like nothing else.
Now I'm angry. Also, maybe we'll play a real game mode in the final instead of this garbage.
Yep.
I didn't realize you were playing
I
again.
think like this game mode has cost me so much elo. I always do very stupid things in this game mode.
Have you considered not doing stupid things then in this game mode?
No.
Don't be stupid.
Yep.
I'll try for next time.
Just we're gonna hope that the Lannister wins again. You get more Mother of Dragon action. You get the easy win. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
All right.
You can play Mother of Dragon's Mirror in the final, just to be really exciting.
Yeah, but
For sure.
Leon does have a history of losing against Lannisters, so there is some chance in that. Don't forget this one game.
Yeah.
Wait,
No,
was
I
it
won't.
against you as
It
well?
was no, it was the Canadian
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, Endline.
Endline.
Yes.
Richard. Yeah.
And it was this game mode as well. And that's why I remember.
It all makes sense now. Okay, so well then, thank you guys for letting us see this game. Thank you everyone that was here for joining, and thank you Miki for taking over the spotlight from me. It was really nice to not be able to say anything for the whole 2 hours. No, but seriously, thank you. I'm glad that you were able to make it. Yeah, the video from this game will be available on Hits and Crits Discord soon, and yeah, we'll see you in next rounds. So thank you everyone. Take care.
Thank you. I'll be back.
Yeah. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Come for the hits and stay for the crits.